Blog Talk Radio.
You are now tuned into the TonyaTko Show, brought to you by www.TonyaTko.com. If you're on the World Wide Web, join us at YouTube, www.youtube.com/TonyaTko, Twitter.com/TonyaTko, and Facebook.com/TonyaTko. That's right, it's TonyaTko. Remember, that's Tonya with an O. Now back to the show.
Simmer down, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for that hearty welcome. I am your host, TonyaTko, and we're getting started quickly here. Right now, it's 8:30 p.m. on the dot, Eastern Standard Time, and the people are starting to filter in the room. The room is jam-packed. We've been featured on the main page, and the phone lines are bursting at the seams. I've never seen so many callers. This is an amazing day. We have a really hot topic going on today. Do you guys know what the topic is? Right now we have a plethora of people who are piling into the chat room right now. Right now the chat room is halfway full. The phone lines are on fire. People have their hands up. And I have a very special treat today. Today, my co-host and my engineer is the founder of Generation X, Dredson. So I want everybody in the room to give a round of applause for Dredson. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Dredson, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming in today and helping out. The phone number to call in is 646-378-1146. And let me just tell you guys about the structure of the show. Right now I'm broadcasting live over the airwaves, and there's also a chat room. I'm going to be announcing all of the people who have names inside the chat room in just a moment. So in the chat room, you'll be able to speak. I'll be reading that as the show is going on. And on the side, you'll see that there is a description of today's show. So on the page, blogtalkradio.com/TonyaTko, you'll see the description for the show and all of the information to know what it is that we're talking about. And today we're talking about the quote-unquote strong, independent woman and whether or not she's rendered the traditional man obsolete. We're going to talk about whether or not the man has any place in today's relationship if there is no need to immediately start a family. We are not ever doubting a man's contribution to child raising and also child production, but on the flip side, there was a subscriber of mine who mentioned, and this was an interesting point. She said that women are evolving, but men are clinging on to the past, hoping for things to be the way they, quote-unquote, used to be. But we want to know, what is it that the modern man is doing to keep himself relevant for today's relationship? As you know, women are making their own money. They're making their own moves. They're living in their own homes, and they don't necessarily need anyone to take care of them. Some men say this is a good thing. Other men say that women have gone too far by siding with the feminists and that they are the destruction of the family. Some people said that this is a problem that exists only in the black community, that white people got it all figured out. But then there are white people, Caucasians, who are saying that this is a problem that's spread across all communities. There are people who are coming in from overseas. I'm broadcasting live right now from New York City. Welcome to all of the people in New York City. And there are people who are coming in from Italy, across the pond. We got people coming in from Germany and all over the world who say that this is a problem that exists also in their community. So listen, we're going to get started right away. I see that the phone lines are chiming, and I'm going to take the first call here. We got Kimmy from Atlanta, Georgia. Before we bring her on the air, I just want, does everybody have the questions that we're going to be talking about today? I did a video on YouTube. For those of you who don't know, I'm TonyaTko. I'm your love guru. And I broadcast mainly on YouTube as well as many sites across the Internet. And I talk about not only how to love one another, but most importantly, to love yourself. And we came upon last week, we had the topic of whether or not boys raised in single mother households were becoming soft as a result of no male influence, and that led to today's show. So before we jump in and take Kimmy, who's been waiting patiently, what we're going to do is I'm going to go scroll down and do a roll call. So welcome to all of the people who got to the room early. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Angela, love, welcome to the room. Carmela Clinton, Deborah Akbar, Etisen, welcome, welcome to the room. And to all of the people who are underneath the guest accounts, welcome, welcome, welcome to the TonyaTko show. Heart Speaks to Me, welcome to the room. Joshua Fountain, welcome to the room. Kimberly Wilkinson, welcome to the room. Killicentric, welcome to the room. Lavender, Lavender's the subscriber who made that comment. So welcome, Lavender. I hope we can get you on the air a little later. Licia B, who's an old school, old-time tuner inner. Thank you and welcome to the room. L. Sterling, Medicine Man Bat, another old schooler right there. Monica 24B, another old schooler. Nai Oni, welcome. Nubian J, welcome. Felix Eulogy, welcome. Pretzel, welcome to the room. Prince SM, welcome. PYT, I'm sorry, no, that's Private Henderson. I'm sorry, I thought you were PYT. Pretty young thing. Private Henderson, welcome to the room. Red Cobra, welcome. Roland CDT, Sakura. Oh, goodness, some of these names are complex. I'm just going to say Sakura. Welcome to the room. Thank you for tuning in. Soul in Black, welcome to the room. Sparkling Champagne, welcome. Takia98, who is another heavy hitter. Welcome, welcome. Vintage Sarissa, I'm sorry if I mess up your name. You know I mean it with love. Vintage, welcome to the room. Kimberly the Goddess, welcome. Lakeisha, welcome. Spectre Renegades, another old school heavy hitter. High Low, welcome to the room. Purple Kisses, Sarah Pody, Ocean Diva, welcome to the room. Look Within, welcome, welcome. Educated Black Man who's been waiting patiently, and I hope you get to call in. Educated Black Man, welcome to the room. And to the hundreds of people who are under the guest account, welcome, welcome. And to the hundreds upon thousands of people who are listening, thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. We're going to jump right in. First question on the list, and you guys, I told you guys, do a little bit of homework. Think about these questions. First question on the list is, can you be independent and part of a partnership? I'm really interested in knowing that. There was a subscriber and associate of mine years ago who talked about this. He criticized women who are going on saying that they are independent women, quote unquote, because he says independence is something that should be left in singlehood. Once you get into a partnership with another person, you should be interdependent. What's the point of being independent and you're still inside of a relationship, or if you're inside of a relationship? So as we proceed, I'm going to get Kemi from Atlanta on the line, and let's see. Bear with me. This is my second show. I have to figure out how to. Here we go. I got it. Kimmy, thank you for calling in. I'm your host, TonyaTko. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? So the first question up at bat is, can you be independent and part of a partnership? I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Actually, I'm in the process of thinking about that, and I just posted it on Facebook because it's a really good question. I think the type of independence would have to be altered in a way if you are in a partnership. The type of independence that most people refer to is, you know, I'm on my own, I'm doing my thing, and I and I have all this taken care of. I don't think you can be like that when you're in a relationship, because a lot of things in a relationship, you need those two people, and depending on who you're dealing with, you could possibly come off as I don't need you. I'm doing my own thing, but that's not going to work if you're in a relationship with somebody. It should be more like a team effort and, more so, when you're with someone versus, I'm not sure. I mean, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can be independent.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. You're saying that independence should be altered when you're in a partnership, that you can maintain some of your independence. Do you mean independence or individuality? Are you talking about independence or individuality? I think that's a key distinction.
I'm thinking I'm more on independence, but if you were to look at the opposite of that, which is being dependent, you don't want to be dependent when you're in a relationship. In the definition of, without this person, I cannot function. I cannot do this, that, or the other. I can't take care of anything. When you're single and you're dependent, that's frowned upon.
Yeah, you know what? I definitely want to present this to the people in the room, and I want somebody to call up. This is the first question up at bat, and if you guys haven't gotten the question, can somebody go over to my YouTube video and just cut and paste the 10 questions that I want everyone to think about? If you could cut and paste that inside the room, because I want people to think about that. So now Kemi on the line says that when you're in a relationship, you don't want to be dependent on that person. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Because the partnership is dependent on the two people inside of that. So is it a bad thing to let down your reins? What is it going to take for a woman to let her guard down, for a man to let his guard down, and to admit, yes, I am dependent on my partner for X? I'm going to get your last input on that, and then we're going to take the next caller, Kemi.
Okay. It's kind of, I'm trying to think of a deeper way to go into it. Basically, like I said, the way I look at it is, you don't want to be the opposite of that, which is dependent. And the way that it was brought to me is the person that you're with should be an accessory or, like lanyard, my New Orleans term, because that's where I'm from. Just like extra. Basically, if you didn't have it, you'd be fine. But you have it, so, hey, it works. So that's my idea of the partnership there in a relationship with somebody.
Okay, well, you know what, and thank you for that input. I'm going to ask the people inside the room. But thank you, Kemi, for tuning in tonight. We'll see you in the chat room. Thank you. All right. Well, you know what? I want to ask, are there any married people inside the room? Because I definitely want to talk with somebody married about this whole idea of going through a partnership, always holding on to, I'm going to be all right without this person. I don't need this person. I won't be dependent on this person. What if you guys both pay the bills together? You guys need input from both partners to pay the bills. Are you only going to get into financial situations in which only you alone can afford? You're going to say, well, honey, we're not getting this house because I need to get a house that I know I could carry if you leave. So Ocean Diva is married. And Ocean Diva, call in. I'm going to take the next caller. We're going to have Veronica from New Jersey come in on the line next. Veronica, you are on the air. Welcome to the TonyaTko show.
Hello, Tonya. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. So we have the first question up. I want to ask you the first question. Can you be independent and part of a partnership?
Well, I totally think that that whoever explained it as being interdependent had a better idea than independent or dependent. The bottom line is when you're in a marriage, it is a partnership that is supposed to. It's much like a partnership when you have a business. You cannot, if you have two co-owners in the business, you can't just carry the business by yourself. You didn't get into the business by yourself. What you chose to do was to be involved in the business as two consenting adults, fighting for a better goal, and to advance in the process. So you can't be dependent on the other person, otherwise the business is going to fall. You can also not be too independent because the business is going to fall. The interdependence simply means that you're not taking away from yourself, but you're adding to the other person's importance, and you are also gaining important value from them. I'm gonna be honest
Okay,
with
well, you know what? And I think that is a great statement to punctuate the point on interdependence. So now that we have question number 1 out of the way, we're going to move on to question number 2. And listen, Veronica, I want to ask you, how did the modern woman become so strong and quote-unquote independent? And can she turn that off?
Oh, well, I can tell you now, we can certainly turn, we can keep it on or we can turn it off, but I can tell you how the modern woman became so strong and independent. And, you know, I've listened to the last blog that you put out on your page, and I was a little concerned about for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, the modern woman did become strong because we had to have extra backbone. Well, I'm going to speak from a black woman's perspective. We had to have extra backbone because a lot of the slack wasn't being picked up. Now it was you know, like you mentioned before on your blog, it had a lot to do with slavery, where, you know, a lot of our black men were being castrated, and our black women were being women were being raped. And in our society as it stands now, our black men are still being castrated, which is exactly why I do not agree at all that the modern man is worthless. Not at all. I completely believe that because our strength has been revived as black women. I'm again stick to what I am versus, you know, another race. Not that I'm against or for other races, but in my particular case, I'm a black woman. So I believe that as opposed to, you know, talking about the worthlessness of a man, try talking from the perspective of it being of the worthiness that they already carry. They carry our legacy. They carry our strength within their fingertips. They carry the reason why a black man could be president today is because of his worth and because of his knowledge and because of his intelligence and because of the kind of gentleman that he's become. It had nothing to do with the worthlessness. More so, it had to do with the fact that he is worthy of becoming of being president. And a lot of people have their opinions about that.
I think we're traveling off onto a little bit of a tangent. I definitely want to stay on point. Now, we would never venture so far as to say that any human being is worthless as a human being.
Well, the question that you said was,
I'm going to have you answer this question about the topic. Mm-hmm. Outside of child rearing and outside of the production of children or the raising of children, how has the modern man reinvented himself to create worth in a relationship that does not involve children? You can answer that, and then we're going to move on into the chat room. As you see, there's some people in the chat room who disagree with you. They say that you can't turn that hardness off, that's something that you grow with, and it seeps into you. You can't turn it off.
Yeah. Well, I totally
talk about the worth of a person in a relationship that has nothing to do with children.
Well, the thing about that is that I don't see anything that's more important than rearing children. The whole point of it is to advance for our generations. The whole point of what you're working for, all the money that we work for, all of the dollars that we make, and don't get me wrong, I'm an independent woman that makes her money, and I don't depend on anyone. But if I was to enter an interdependence, it would be for my child rearing. It would be for the what you're actually answering right now, Veronica, is that outside of child rearing, you don't see the worth. No, I did not say that. I said that is the most important situation, and for me, because if you look at the way society has gone from one end to the other. Think about the question initially was posed about boys growing up, you know, soft. The reason why they're growing up.
That was last week's discussion.
Right. That was a couple of days ago. Right. Whatever, you know, from your page. But the reason that's happening is because it's not placed in a great importance on rearing our children. Yes, it's more important. You said other than, but the bottom line is I don't think there's a greater importance in this world than taking care of our children and making sure that they grow up to be strong, independent men.
Okay. Well, you know what? Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We're gonna move on to the next caller. I appreciate your input. Talk inside the chat room. There's some people there that want to hear from you. Thank you, Veronica.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on. It's just a little difficult from my computer, but I love your show. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I love you too, girlfriend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so there we have it. We had Veronica who called in from New Jersey, who had a hard time. She talked about the importance and the worth of men contributing to a household. A household in which children are involved. Nobody's disputing that. I want to find out from you. Where are the astute men out there who know what a man's worth is, that has nothing to do with child rearing, has nothing to do with child production or conception? I want to hear from some of you. The phone lines are blinking and going crazy. I'm going to take the next call. I want to see. We have a bunch of ladies on hold. Let me see. Here we go. And here we're going to take Dre right now from North Carolina. Dre, you are on the air. Welcome to the TonyaTko show.
Hey, what's up, Tonya?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
we have a question that's on the table right now. In your opinion, how did the modern woman become so quote unquote strong and independent? And do you think this is something that can be turned off?
Okay, the modern woman has become strong and independent. See, when I think of that question, I relate to it in my community. Okay, after the civil rights movement, the white woman initiated the black woman to join their movement. So that's when black women decided to join, the white feminist movement. It doesn't work for the black community, however, and that's why we're suffering. That's why we have all these baby mamas and baby daddies and no commitments. That's why we have all these out-of-wedlock children. That's why we have no relationships. We just have booty calls and we just have jump-offs. And we have no solid relationship.
So you feel that white women are responsible for black men leaving their children. This is a very interesting point, Dre. How many people in the room agree with this? I definitely want to hear some input on that. There's some people who are screaming no, 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 no. So go ahead, Dre. You say that it's that whole feminist movement in which the black woman participated in that has men leaving their children. If you can answer that, I'd like to. We'd love to hear the conclusion on that. How do you feel about that?
I feel that white women use black women, and it works for white women, but it doesn't work for the black community, and that's why we're in shambles.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. So you feel that the onset of the feminist movement was something that destroyed the black family. So you're saying that black families were pristine and the model of what families should be molded after before white women came along and dragged the black woman in, used her, and then made black men leave their babies.
Well, Tonya, you're being very colorful with these words, and you're adding words to my statements. But what I am saying is that we were never more together during the civil rights movement than any other time in history. However, the white establishment, white feminism said, you know what? We're going to use you black women so that let's take you out of the civil rights movement and put you into our movement because you're not just black, you're also a woman. And you know what?
Okay.
Our community fell in shambles after that.
Okay. Well, you know what? And you answered the question. So, Dre, thank you. I appreciate your input on that. But
cool.
You know what? Since you are a guy and we have you on the line, before we take the next call, I want you to answer the question about the contribution, the worth of a man and what he brings to a relationship that does not have any children involved. Outside of producing children and raising them, what worth does a man bring into a relationship?
A man brings leadership. A man brings masculinity. And that's another thing I want to talk about, Tonya, before you cut me off. Masculinity is frowned upon in our world now, in our society, and I think that's another downfall of our relationships. Masculinity is not.
No. Excuse me, Dre. We're gonna stay on the question. I want to find out what contribution men bring into relationships that outside of child rearing and conception. What is the worth? You're a man, and I want to use your male resource. You're a man, right? I want to use your resource as a man to tell me. Okay, thank you.
Hold on. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I want to hear I want to hear what you have to say.
Men bring strength. Men bring leadership. Men and women are not the same. There's always going to be differences. You have to understand that women have their qualities that they bring to the table, and men have their qualities that they bring to the table. It's not interchangeable. When you devalue one, you devalue everything.
Okay. So there we have it. Thank you very much, Dre, for calling in. We're going to present that to the room. I definitely want to get some feedback on that from the people in the room. So thank you for your contribution, Dre.
Nope.
Okay, so there we had a man who was on the line who said that men bring strength and leadership to the relationships that have nothing to do with conception and rearing of children. So there are some people inside the room who say, I agree. Nubian J says men do bring leadership. Sakura wants to call in, but the lines are busy. Qlin says that men are called dogs in the media. Nubian J said men set standards. Spectre Renegade says, is a leader and masculine? Wait a minute. I know Spectre is a woman. What are you talking about, young lady? Goodness. And then Killocentric says they don't do a good job at that. Some people says he's full of BS. And then someone else says, Joshua says it depends on the kind of man. So I definitely want to get the next person on the line. The phone lines are going crazy. So let me see. The next person up at bat is Nikki from South Carolina. Nikki, are you ready to hit a home run? Nikki, you are on the line. Thank you for calling the TonyaTko show.
Thank you for letting me in. I appreciate it.
Well, it's a numbers game at this point because people started calling in from 8 o'clock and getting on hold. I don't know how you were able to get through, but the lines are jam-packed.
Oh, my goodness. That is crazy.
Yeah, but you know what? The question up at hand. We have the question, did we get a good answer to that? How did the woman become strong and independent? There were people inside the chat room who were saying she became that way because she had to be. There was nobody to rely on. And some people say you can't turn it off. Some people say you can't turn it off. So we're going to move on to question number 3.
And
question number 3,
in my personal experience, being a female, black, and raising children, even from a teenager, I had to be strong because the male role model, my father, he was there but wasn't there. He was sort of absentee. So I learned from my mother that if the man isn't going to do it, you got to do it yourself. You have to take care of you regardless. And that's the mentality that I've grown with, is that I have to have my back first and foremost, and then hope or pray that whoever I'm dealing with is going to be there to support me and help me if I fall. But first and foremost,
so everybody, you hear that? She had to be strong, and then make it dependent on a prayer, a hope and a prayer that maybe she'll find somebody who'll be strong enough to take over the reins. So listen, I think that we got a sufficient answer to question number 2. So question number 3. Can a man with less economic power truly lead? Come on, hit a home run, girl. I want to hear your answer to that. Can a man with less economic power truly lead?
I personally haven't found anyone capable of taking over my position because it takes a lot. Just saying that you're strong means nothing. I'm strong as well. I've basically been raised to be strong. and that means nothing. I can take boxing classes if I want to knock somebody out.
Listen, I know I put you on the spot. And listen, everybody, if you have a browser out there, I want you to open up my YouTube video, the one I put up today.
Yeah,
Answer these 10 questions. That was you saw that, so you knew the homework.
I commented on it
video.
too. That was like a hard one. I was hoping I wouldn't get that question because it was like,
well,
I can't turn it off.
Listen. Musical chairs, musical phone lines. You landed in the hot seat, honey.
I can't turn it off.
Have you ever?
I don't know how.
Have you ever been in a situation with a man who was making less money than you, who was still able to exercise this strength and this leadership and this other stuff that some of the guy who called in said that men this is what they bring. They bring strength and leadership. Have you ever been in a situation with a man who was making less money than you, who could bring this strength and leadership? Is it possible?
I've been with one that made more money than I, and still he couldn't make things happen. He wasn't mentally. He could bring in the money. He had the strength. But mentally, he wasn't geared as far as what needed to be done. If A didn't come through, B would fall through. You get what I'm saying? He didn't have the mental ability to lead.
Clean Classy says, sadly, ladies have forgotten that it's men who helped us get to where we are today. And the comments are scrolling too fast for me to be able to read the rest of that.
I know, I'm trying to read them too. How do you take away from men, but as a result of them becoming more lax in their duties and making themselves more appealing, because now you can't live in the past. Okay, the past is the past. Thank you. I appreciate everything you did for me. But now what can you do now? You know, you can't always fall back on what you did do because that's in the past now. That's many years ago. Now I can get my own job and make my own money and take care of my own kids. What else can you bring in?
And Clean and Classy is saying that it's a shame that you've forgotten that it was men who fought beside us to help us get the rights that we have now. So you know what? We're going to move on to the next caller. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you. I definitely want to get a man's perspective and a man's point of view. I want to hear from some more male callers. You know, did women forget where it is that we came from? Did we come from Adam's rib? Did the men get us into the positions that we are in today? I heard some people on my video who were saying, look around at all the buildings around you. None of this would be possible without a man. And then a woman counteracted and said, well, if that man didn't have a woman, he wouldn't have even had the the gumption and concentration to be able to make those inventions. Is this true? Is this not true? You know what? We're going to take the next caller now, and the next caller on the line is Brian from New York. Brian from New York, welcome to the TonyaTko show. You are on the air.
How you doing, Tonya?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Oh, listen to what he's bringing to the table. He's bringing this big, deep voice rattling the speakers.
Sorry about that.
Welcome, Brian. So we have question number 3 up, and then I'm going to let you talk on what it is that you want to speak on. Question number 3, can a man with less economic power truly lead?
Okay. Well, I think according to the last caller, you know, she mentioned that she was in a relationship with a man who made more money than her, and he still couldn't lead. I think that indicates to me that leadership is more than just financial power or financial ability. You know, just because you have money doesn't mean that you have the ability or the insight or the know-how to get certain things done, whether it be around a house or where to invest your money in, where to move. Those things you don't need any money to do. You have to have a certain type of analytical ability. Now, to be honest, that's stereotypically that's a masculine. It was considered a masculine.
You know, the
quality
ladies are going crazy in the chat room for your voice. You getting the girls excited, Brian. My goodness, I know you don't have any problems with the ladies. All you got to do is just turn that voice on them.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised because the thing about it.
Well, you know what? Second half, in half an hour, we're going to move on to the dating game. So I want to get all of these questions out the way. But yes, so there was a man who called in and said that men bring leadership into the relationship. Okay, a leader brings leadership. Does it matter whether that leader has a twig and two berries? Are men inherent leaders?
Now, what I want to clarify is that, I was talking about the characteristic of being a good analyzer, being stereotypically masculine. That does not mean every man has that ability or has developed that ability. There's going to be variations across the board. However, what I can say is that symbolically, a man has a different effect or different. People respond differently to a man than they will a woman in different situations. That's not to say that a man is better, but together we are better than we are apart when we're working in harmony.
Okay. So, and I definitely, you know what, as a woman, I can co-sign on that a man brings a certain presence. I'm not going to talk about my point of view until the segment is over. I'm just going to quickly co-sign on that. Okay. But let's get back to the economic power. Do you make more money?
I'm sorry, I have a lot of...
oh, my goodness, they're giving you a round of applause. Oh, wow, they're really feeling you, I suppose. Listen, do you have a mate?
At the moment, no.
At the moment, no, and it took you a long time to think about that. What's happening to you? So listen.
Long story. Long story.
Have you ever been in a situation where you made less money than your partner?
Yeah, different times. Life is, money can come and go, so you really cannot look at that.
How did you feel? How was your contribution? Was your contribution respected when you made less money?
With one situation, it was less respected. With another situation, it had less of a impact on how I was appreciated. It depends on the person.
And how did you feel when you made less money than this person? Can you give me an example of how you were disrespected because you made less money?
Well, at the time in that particular relationship, my girlfriend was looking at me like, comparing me to her friend's relationship and what her boyfriend could do for her that I couldn't do. And how if you had the money for a car, we can go here. If you had the money for a house, we can do this and live there. And it wasn't really of a perspective of like, well, let's work on how we can get it together. It was like, you're not doing this for me. But, that's not a relationship. That's not teamwork. That's like what have you done for me lately?
And I'm glad you made that point. We're going to go to a quick break right now. Everybody stay tuned. I'm going to jump inside the chat room and talk with some of you people who were just jibing me. So listen, we're going to go to a quick break right now, and when we come back, we're going to ask him how did it make him feel as a man and as a leader, and who it is that he decided to date after that. Are women shooting their own selves in the foot? That there are lots of available men out there, but they themselves are emasculating them. So stay tuned. After the break, we're going to take back up with Brian from New York. Hello, Brian? Brian? Okay, and welcome back to the TonyaTko show. I hope you guys were all able to go freshen up, grab yourself some water, and some of you after that music said you needed a cigarette. Oh, goodness, you guys are making fun of my music. Listen, I love that song. I picked it just for you guys. Listen, we have Brian back on the line. Brian?
Okay.
Did you have some time to think about what type of relationships it is that you've been more drawn to? Does a woman's money matter to you anymore, or did you take that situation with that woman and decide that you're just not going to go that direction anymore with someone who makes more money?
Well, the thing about it, she wasn't making much more money than me. It was just that at the time I was unemployed and she was. She was making much more than minimum wage, just that she had work and I didn't. So
oh, my
I was
goodness,
really
so the
looking
woman
for.
wasn't even making major dollars. She was just making a little bit more than minimum wage and was missing you.
Yeah. So I think the thing is, not so much that I couldn't date somebody who had made more money than me, but I couldn't date anyone who looks at the amount of money I make as being such a heavy weight of my value, because I have much more value than my economic power,
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to ask you this last question, and we're going to move on to the next caller. But let's say you were in a situation, and are there any married people in the room? Because I want to hear from some married people. If you were in a situation with a woman, let's say you are married or dating long term, and you're the man, you're the leader of the household, and you want to get a home that costs a certain amount of money, and she's like, listen, I don't really think that that's a good idea, and you're like, well, it's going to be an investment or whatever the case may be. If it's an investment and you need her money to go into the investment, do you feel that you can be the true leader, the true head of that household if you're not able to make moves that you need to make or make decisions that you need to make as the leader because you are less financially capable?
Right. Now, things get complicated in that situation. I think what's even more important in that situation, though, is the amount of trust that your mate has in you to make decisions with basically her money or the money that she's generating on her own to combine with yours. If she has faith in you, then, yeah, you guys can go ahead and do it. But if she doesn't, and if it's solely because of, that's like...
And you know what?
Yeah.
And that's a fair answer. Thank you very much for calling in. We all appreciated your contribution, Brian.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so listen, the phone lines are bursting at the seams. The next person we have on the line is Lavender from South Carolina, and she's the person who made the comment about women changing and men trying to cling on to this old ideal from the past. So listen, Lavender, are you ready to punctuate your point live and on the air? Welcome to the TonyaTko show.
Hi.
Hi, Lavender. How are you? So nice to finally meet you.
Oh, you too. Where's Brian at? Put him back on the line.
Why? Because you were just feeling so wonderful from his melodic voice? Well, listen, you're up at the bat right now, and I definitely want to hear what you have to say. You made a very poignant point, or you made you hit real hard on the video today in that comment. So, what was your thought behind that comment?
Well, I mean, the thing that really bothers me is that when people talk about the past, they make it seem like it was perfect, it was some lovely dream when it really wasn't. Things were probably just as bad as they were back then. And I'm only 23, so I can't speak as well as the older people can about it. But I mean, that was just my point, because there was someone back there, I think you talked about in the new video, who said we should ask our grandmothers for advice because things were great. And I mean, that's
right, absolutely. And that was something that really brought a lot of passion out from me. And after we're going to take the next caller after you is going to be there's a guy on the line, Soul in Black from Baltimore. We're going to take him, and then after we take him, we're going to bring you and Brian back on the line together in case you wanted to dialogue with. Oh goodness, honey, calm down. What's happening over here? So listen, do you have an answer? We're going to come back to your point, but did you have an answer for all of the questions? And I'm going to hit you with a question right now. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Is it gold digging if a woman looks for a man who can lead financially or has more power than her, more financial power?
No, I mean, not at all. I think it's gold digging when that's all you look at. Like, this guy, he can be a woman beater or a drug dealer, but as long as he has money in the Benz, I'm cool with it. That's gold digging.
I see. So gold digging is the absence of any other criteria besides his money.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, well, you know what? I think that we got that question right out of the way with the quickness. So now back to the original point. You talked about how you get frustrated with people who talk about these good old days where I guess women were subservient and all this other stuff. You know what? I don't know if everyone here had a chance to watch my latest video, but on the latest video, I really went in hard on people who were talking about the contribution or how we need to go back to our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and how they had relationships, et cetera. And I broke down the timeline of when slavery ended and the amount of generations, 15 generations. A generation is 33 years. If black people were in slavery for 500 years, we're talking about 15 generations of people inside in a country living underneath the constraints and the mental slavery and the physical bondage, one family after another, and living with this type of destruction and denigration, and then feeling like none of that had an effect on our grandmother or great-grandmother. There was one woman named Lovey who came to the video and said that the only thing she could learn from her grandmother in terms of relationships is how to put up with a man who has another family down the dirt road and accept it while he's cheating on her and all over the place, et cetera, with different women, et cetera, et cetera. So, there are no perfect people out there. And some people feel that the general nature of man is one of roaming, where he can go and drop his seed from here to there. We know that relationships were not perfect back in the days, and I can see how anybody could be frustrated by constantly listening to how things were so wonderful with our grandmothers when our grandparents were in dysfunctional relationships. I want to ask some of the people inside the room. The room is bursting at the seams right now. Inside the room, what type did your grandparents have? Good functioning model relationships? I want to ask some of you. If it's yes, put up a 1. If it's no, put up a 2, please. I want to hear from that. And then Lavender, to finish off your point, and then we're going to put you on hold while we take Soul in Black. Did you have anything else you wanted to say before we brought you back on with Brian?
Well, I just wanted to answer that question. No, my grandmother, she was married to a man that had other families out there. Her father never acknowledged her as a daughter. My mother was a crackhead and a prostitute, and I was raised by my dad. So, I mean, I don't really think many people have good role models anyway.
Well, you know what? And on that note, we're going to put you right back on hold. Thank you. What do you guys feel about that statement? I'm going to put you right back on hold, and then we're going to take Soul in Black real quick, okay? Thank you. All right. So, Soul in Black, thank you for calling the TonyaTko show. You are on the air. The phone lines are going crazy in the chat room. It is going crazy. Jules is talking about matchmaking. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Soul in Black, are you ready?
Yes, Tonya, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, brother.
Okay. Nice to come and visit your show and listen to the topic. It actually is a good topic. In particular,
Thank you. Do you have any experience with this topic?
Oh, yeah. This is kind of one of my areas. One of the videos, kind of things I do videos about. And I've had shows.
Okay, great. So that means that you're going to answer question number 5. Are you ready for question number 5, Soul in Black? Here we go. Question number 5 is, what becomes of girls who are raised with weak patriarchs? What becomes of girls who are raised in a family with a weak patriarch?
Well, what becomes of them is a lack of respect for the masculine position of head of household. So that becomes an issue. It's constantly being an issue as of right now. We can see the results of that and the fallout from that because there's been, shall we say, a plethora of men who have left their Hello.
Hey, Soul in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep on going, man. But she got disconnected some kind of way, so you on with me now. So just keep going until she calls back in. Hello, Soul in Black. Oh.
You there?
Soul in Black. Yeah, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. She got disconnected some kind of way, so I'm going to run it until she gets back online. So just keep going and elaborating on your thoughts.
Okay. All right. One of the things I've noticed is that we've had a lot of ladies today who actually can admit that they don't have fathers in their household. And, of course, when they don't have fathers in their household, they tend to look for male attention, which has been brought up many times. But a lot of times they're taken in the wrong direction and allow the wrong type of men into their life. So, therefore, we perpetuate this cycle of lack of solid patriarchs in the family, which also leads to the power play.
You know what? I'm so sorry. We had a brief impromptu break. I'm so sorry, Soul is Black. I don't know if you noticed or not, but we had an unplanned break where I was booted off the air. Goodness.
Well, yeah, Tonya, I went to say something to respond to your question, and you weren't there.
Apparently, you took over the show. I came back in, and you were still talking.
Well, I was told to keep talking. I was just
You know what? I'm over here telling you need to pay your Boost Mobile bill.
Oh, it's not me.
I know. Apparently, listen, we had slight technical difficulties. I'm not exactly 100% sure about what happened, but I'm here now, and I didn't hear your answer. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. TonyaTko is back in the building. So, did you hear my question number 5? Did you?
Yes, I did hear your question number 5, and I did answer it.
You answered it already? Did he?
Yes, I did.
Did he give a sufficient answer? People inside the room, in the chat room, can you tell me, was his answer sufficient? Oh, goodness. I'm so embarrassed right now. I'm sweating. Oh, goodness. Listen, so the people are laughing. They're not even telling me whether or not your answer was sufficient. So can you give me a brief rundown of what do you feel happens to girls who are raised with weak patriarchs?
Yes. My breakdown was real simple. It's just basically that the women or the girls would actually have a lack of respect for men, and that would overflow into their future relationships.
Okay. And then the second part of that question was what happens to boys who are raised with under the parentage of weak patriarchs?
Well, what happens with them is they also have a lack of respect, even for themselves, and it causes a problem with camaraderie with their fellow brothers.
Oh, so you feel that men would have a problem relating to other men if they were raised in a home in which the patriarch was not a strong male figure?
Yeah, that's only in regards to if they don't have any other fallback role model around. If there's no role model around for them to draw from, then it's going to be a problem.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think that you knocked that one out the park, my brother. Thank you. So now that we have you on the hot seat, we're going to have you move into answering the main topic of the show. Outside of conception and child rearing, what do men bring to the table for relationships? What is his worth in that relationship? I want to hear from you.
Well, see, when we think about the worth of a person, it's more than just financial prowess, if we want to put it that way. We're actually talking about...
We're not talking about financial. We're talking about your opinion, what you feel the worth of.
In my opinion, a man brings honor, respect, dignity, loyalty, love, spirituality, all those particular things. And he leads in those particular areas, and he shows the opposite side of the perspective of how it's to be demonstrated and shown and given to each other, to himself, to his family, to his community.
Okay. Well, you know what? Listen, can we get a round of applause on that one? I've been waiting all show. Thank you. Thank you very much, Soul and Black. I've been waiting all show for somebody. Through 2 videos posted on 4 different sites. I've been waiting for somebody to tell me what is a man's worth and contribution. And you know what? It really saddens me. You guys know that I'm the love guru, so I'm definitely not going to lead you guys onto any path of hatefulness. I really want, and this entire topic has really showed me that there is a tremendous lack of caring for our male counterparts when men themselves in this here year of 2010 doesn't know what his worth is in a relationship outside of being a sperm donor. And I even had one person inside the room that was screaming out that a man is only good for his seed. And it took an entire hour and all of these videos to finally get a man on the line who could talk about some of the things that men bring outside of his penis. So you know what? I want you to elaborate on that a little bit more. If you could talk some words that may be able to fill somebody out there up with some sort of self-worth. Because if as a grown man, if you don't know what it is that you're bringing into a relationship, what worth and what value you have, then how do you even enter into that relationship from a standpoint of feeling that you're even worthy of being in a relationship? What is your worth besides your penis? And when men start thinking that their only worth is what's between their legs, that's when it causes them to jump from one bed to another, to have total lack of disregard for all things emotional and relationshipinal. Okay, forgive me while I make up words. But seriously, these are the types of things when a person doesn't feel that. And you know what? A lot of this stems from some of the atrocities of the past. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But Soul and Black, I'd really love to hear more about what you feel a man's worth is in a relationship. If you could just punctuate your point a little more.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, I'll just try to grab some examples so people can actually, reminisce, if you want to put it that way. Let's think about, like, say, for instance, someone like Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a great father, but he was also a great leader, and he actually went through incredible trials and struggles to take himself up to a higher level. So when you see demonstrations like that with Malcolm X, you have someone like Dr. King, who not only did the civil rights movement, but he also moved over to something like he had another movement for color people and poor people. He was setting up for economic gains and trying to eradicate poverty and stuff like that. There are other aspects of, shall we say, a man's position and what makes him worthy or worth. Mm-hmm. His worth is produced. So if we just look at it from even historical, or you can look at your local businessman next door, see what he's doing, or the guy who's driving the bus. I mean, they do show themselves in worthy positions. It's just basically we're basically, I think a lot of people are looking at what's a man's worth based upon a narrow view. And so because of that narrow view, we don't really open ourselves up to be receptive of all the other aspects of them. Like I said, when we talk about loyalty, adoration, respect, honor, dignity, those particular things, we need a lot of that right now. So, so if you and self-respect and self-discipline as well. I mean, there's a certain aspects when we talk about women inside the relationships of marriage or whatever. There needs to be a time where we don't necessarily fall on feelings and emotion. We have to make decisions based upon what's right and what's the good thing to do, not because of our emotions. So that's where a man definitely can take a position and show his worth, not based upon his feeling alone, but what is the good thing to do. And since men are kind of somewhat disconnected, they're still connected with their feelings, but they have the capability to set those back a little bit further so they can look at the broader perspective and view and actually try to achieve the better thing for the family or the relationship or reach the higher goal. That needs to be, looked at and recognized.
Yeah. Absolutely. As a quick segue, Takia wants to know if you're single.
Yeah.
Okay, Takia, he's single. Now what? But I definitely feel exactly what it is that you were saying about basically the whole gist of that. But let me ask you a question. What is it? And I know my answer to this, but I want to get your answer. What is it about maledom, about being male, that you feel qualifies a person to do, be, or exemplify the things that you listed? What is it about the construct of what makes a man biologically, physically, socially, that would make him bring all of the things that you mentioned into the relationship?
Well, see, those are things that are built from within. Your self-esteem has to be on point. I mean, and you have to have definite good examples in your life to draw from and actually build upon.
Okay.
Because no matter what we do, we have to build upon what we have gotten from the past and move it on to the future. So, that's what's necessary for a guy. When I talk about all these particular attributes, they've learned these particular things and practiced them from the lower level and moved them up to the higher levels.
Okay. And I'm personally curious, why is it that you're single?
Oh, well, my classification of singles until you're married. So I'm single because I haven't gotten married. So once I get married, then I'm off.
Okay, so you're in a relationship right now.
No.
So I see. So you're eloquent on one point. You dance around the hat on others.
No, I just said no.
Right, but you said that your classification of singleness is not being married. That leaves a whole broad spectrum of all types of relationships that can exist that are not marriage.
Well, I have a different perspective in that regard when you talk about relationships, because I think a lot of times when people say you're in relationships, they're basically practicing to be married, and I don't think it's official until you have an engagement ring or you're married. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you know what? And I'm glad that you did say that you are single, because we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back in from the break, we're going to bring Lavender and Brian on the line to go head to head to have to have it out on the line. I don't know what it is that they'd like to speak about, but after that, we're going to bring on the dating game. I want to talk with some of you to find out what it is that you are looking for in the opposite sex, to find out what some of you are interested in, whether or not your requests are unreasonable. Then we're going to open up the lines for different people to quiz you. So stay right there, Soul and Black. We're going to find you somebody today, okay? No. We're going to find you someone today in Baltimore. Listen, ladies, he's available. Hold on the line for just a moment. We're going to go into a quick break.
Oh, boy.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I was back in here dancing. I don't know about you all, but when they was like da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, I was in here pop locking. I really love that song. That is all right. Well, we have an African woman inside the room. I would love to hear from her about some of the accusations people were slamming across back and forth inside the room, you know, saying that African women have certain standards that are a little peculiar. I'd love to hear some of that. We also have Andre inside the room, the one who inspired question number 1 about being independent. Can you be independent and also in a partnership? But Andre, I think he's feeling a little shy about calling in. Listen, the telephone number is 646-378-1146, and the lines are filling up. Right now, we are going to bring Lavender and Brian back on the line together. So let me open up the line for Brian, and let me open up the line for Lavender. Let me find which line she's on. I don't want to open up the wrong line. Then we have a sword fight. No pun intended. Well, pun intended. Listen, Lavender, Brian, you're both on the line. Welcome back to the show.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, Brian.
How you doing? Yeah, so you want to talk?
Okay. So Lavender had specifically requested Brian. What was the reason behind requesting this particular caller, Lavender?
I love his voice.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Here we have this strong activist in the comments getting weak over a little bit of tremble and bass. All right. Well, you know what? Since we have you both on the line, Brian had expressed some interesting points when he was on the line. Do you remember any of those, or were you swooned by his voice so much that you are no longer in your right mental faculties?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't remember a thing. I just love his voice.
Goodness. Okay. Well, I believe, Brian, you were the one who was stating that you were in a relationship with a woman in the past who had made more money than you, and that it made you feel uncomfortable about dating people who would choose to judge a man based on his net worth, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. You're single now. What are some of the things that you're looking for in a woman now?
Right now, definitely somebody who has tact, somebody who knows how to talk to people, can see more than just their side of a situation, and know that they're not always right, and take criticism. That's for one, very important.
Okay.
Another is somebody who's trying to, continually improve themselves. I guess individually and collectively, if they're, we're in a relationship, but then also to, be loyal and honest, and respectful of the relationship, not to, say that you're, we're an item and we're exclusive, but then go around and, allow other guys to, you know where I'm going.
How important is attraction to you?
Well, that's step one. If there's no attraction, that's kind of like the initial glue to even begin building. It's not everything, but it is. But it could be the beginning of everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And let me ask you a question. Why is it that you're single right now?
Just got out of a relationship. Not too long ago.
Okay, so you're on the rebound. Are you looking to get into a relationship now?
Not necessarily. Just kind of looking to, I guess, reflect inward and, take it easy, but, wouldn't mind having somebody to talk to.
I see. So definitely there is a need for female contribution in the male relationships because women provide that nurturing center. So Lavender, now that we have you on the hot seat, what are some things that you're looking for in a man?
I mean, well, because I don't necessarily look. I just, when I have something, I just know that I'm not just looking for a deep voice. I can say that I really do enjoy confidence and, the ability to be vulnerable, not hard all the time. And someone who's more emotional than me so that they can bring that out in me. And, someone who isn't clingy and just desperate.
Who is not clingy. So you definitely need a mate who has his own dependence.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, how do you feel about that?
That sounds cool. Yes. Don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay, how important is sexual attraction to both of you?
Yeah, it's important, If you're not sexually attracted to somebody, why would you want to have sex with them, And that's one of the, it's an important plateau for any relationship at some point. You don't want to reproduce if that's what you're looking to do, in a man-woman relationship, Otherwise you may as well just be friends, right?
I got you.
Wow.
Well, you know what? We have an angry caller on the line. I'm going to let you two take it up inside the chat room, okay? Thank you both for being our initial guinea pigs. We're going to get some other people on the hot seat. Thank you both for calling in. Lavender, Brian, we appreciate your contribution. All right, so now we're going to open, the lines are open again, and the hands are flying up into the air for people who want to speak. We have Licia, who was in the chat room, saying that Lavender was not telling the truth. I don't know what she meant by that. I thought she sounded pretty truthful to me. Also, we have an angry caller on the line. Oh, goodness, there are some people who want to know about Soul in Black. Daywalker wants to know what's up with Soul in Black. Listen, we're going to pull Soul in Black back on the line in just a moment. Looks like his eyes are going crazy. He's rolling around on the floor in the chat room. So right now we have Kimberly the Goddess on the line from New York. Kimberly, welcome to the TonyaTko show. How are you?
Hey, Tonya, it's Kim. Kimberly, hi, and how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. Oh, welcome to the show. You finally got through.
Yes.
How are you? So we had a series of, did you get the 10 questions that everyone was answering? Because I'm going to put you on the hot seat.
No, I didn't get the 10 questions. I heard the other caller that called in, the same one who commented on the Facebook thing about her son, who give makeovers in the neighborhood and stuff. So I was just listening. I needed to call in. You're laughing, don't laugh, because I started this and it seemed like you're going to finish it. Go ahead.
Well, I spoke with you earlier, and you had inspired one of the questions that I had on here, and that was question number 9. You were the person who said that you don't mind working with a man who doesn't necessarily have, all of this money, but there has to be some sort of demonstration that he's going to come out of that, or that he is going in the right direction, and that he does want to actually do something with his life. So do you have any experience with dealing with men who have less economic power than you, and whether or not that turned out to be a fruitful relationship or not? And then you're getting put on the hot seat.
I mean, yes. Because when I first met my ex-husband, he just started driving. He was working only part-time with UPS. He wanted more. He was, I think, only making maybe $13, but it was part-time. He was cool with it. He wanted more. He got his CDL license, started to drive full-time, started driving the tractor feeders and everything for them. And, UPS is a good job, So, I mean, he did want more. I worked with him. I could have went the other direction, but that wasn't the case with him. I mean,
okay.
If a man, like I said before, you have to be going somewhere. You just can't be, stand still in one spot and you're okay with this, and you only have one life to live. You drop dead, that's it. You can't come back in another life and say, well, I'm going to do everything over different. So, I mean, if you're not looking to progress.
How do you know the difference between a man who is actually going places and somebody who's just kind of idling your time, playing games?
And honestly, you really don't know. You have to be. It's kind of like, I mean, you never know with nothing. Nothing lasts forever beside the word of God in life. You understand? You could meet somebody today, get married tomorrow, and everything is good for 10 years, and then you wake up on the 11th year and don't like the person. You understand what I'm saying? It just happens. It happens every day.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna one quick question. I want to ask you Andre's question about, because you were married, how do you feel about being independent when you're in a marriage? Can you maintain your independence while you are in a cohesive relationship?
You can, and you have to learn. And when I got married, I was only 22, and I lost myself. I kind of lost myself. And
what do you mean?
You know what it is? Sometimes you get into a rut of worrying about everybody, doing everything for everyone, and everything else. You forget about your needs, your likes, your desires. So
okay.
I found myself at the time worried about the kids, the husband, the bills, and everything else. And it was just like little simple things. Like, I used to like iced tea. I used to like lemonade. My ex-husband didn't like these things, so I never used to buy it.
Oh, I see.
I remember,
so now I see what you mean by losing yourself. Okay. So you forgot about the things that you do want. And speaking of the things that you do want, you're in the hot seat, Kimberly. Welcome to the hot seat. We're going to find out what it is that you are looking for in a man. So what are you looking for in a man, Kimberly?
It's not like I'm ever going to get it, but...
Oh, well, you know what? When you start out with this negativity, I don't know where you expect to go from here.
No, you're right. The power's in the tongue. Honestly, you know what is really important to me? You go with me, Tonya?
No, the people are booing you. I don't have anything to do with that.
Sorry. Okay. No, you're right. The power's
First of all, let me tell the people in the room. You guys know that I'm TonyaTko. Kimberly just happens to be a woman that I have met in real life, and Kimberly is very hot and saucy. When I say that she is a woman who embraces her sensuality, she truly embraces her sensuality, and she's so pretty. Oh, so pretty. So men out there, Brian in New York, so listen.
Yeah, Brian.
Brian said he's on a hiatus.
Holla.
So listen, Kimberly, what are some of the things that you're looking for in a man? Let's find out whether or not you're being unreasonable.
Honestly, he has to be a good provider. He has to be strong. He has to be a provider.
I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off. I'm going to let you continue. But weren't you the woman who just said you don't mind working with a man? Now all of a sudden you're looking for the number one thing on the list is providing? I'm going to be quiet now and let you go ahead and have
what? Okay. A provider just doesn't mean financially. And let me explain something to you. If I'm making $70,000 a year, okay, and you're only making $40,000 a year, okay? Now, if I need $10, $20, or let's say I'm short and I need $1,000, if I come to you, you should be able to help me. I make more money than you, yes, but I'm in a predicament where I need your help, or we're in a relationship, and I may be short on a bill this week, baby.
Okay.
I need $500.
So that's number one on the list. Good provider. I'm gonna let the people in the room hear the rest of your list. So go ahead. Number one, good provider. What else?
Good provider, honest. Good provider. He has to be honest. He does have to have a balance of everything. Not too much street, not too much thug, not too much geek. A well-balanced man. He has to be balanced. He has to know where he's going in life, where he plans, where he wants to go. He has to be family-oriented, too. I mean, if you don't have a relationship with your family, your parents, and anything, I really don't want to be bothered with you because that's me.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask the people in the room. You've heard her list. Is she being unreasonable? If you think she is, put up a 1. If you think she's right on point, put up a 2. Is she being unreasonable? Kimberly Wilkinson was the first person to put up a 1. Speak My Mind is 1. Sakura, it has a 2. There's only 1 2 so far. So the people think that your list is unreasonable. They think that you didn't mention. Eti-san said, what about character? And then Men Talk Radio says, what difference does it make how much money? And then Sakura says that she believes in the family thing. So Lakeisha has 2, and Sam has 1. Everybody thinks that you're being unreasonable. I need some people to explain why they think she's being unreasonable. And then we have a special guest caller in. We have
So basically we're saying the race of the generation of our men are sorry excuses of men. Maybe this is why a lot of black men is locked up, because men in the household are not teaching them how to be good providers, fathers, and these characteristics they need to grow forth in their adulthood. Are you serious?
Well,
if you grow up as a man and you want to be respected as a man in a relationship, there's just certain things. You know, and
the whole truth says that your list didn't have anything of substance in it. The whole truth says your list was no substance.
Well, you put me
and Lady Cam says she's laughing at you because she says you're mad now. Joshua wants to know what it is that you bring to the table.
What do I bring to the table?
Joshua Fountain wants to know, what do you bring to the table?
What do I cater to my partner 110% regardless of what? Okay, no matter what he needs, no matter it's a give and take in a relationship. I'm not one to just take all the time. I give. What I bring to the table, I bring love, I bring careness, I bring honesty. I wash, I cook, I clean for my man. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He needs me to talk to. I'm here to listen. I'm here to rub his shoulders after a hard day of work. Whatever he needs to make us comfortable in a relationship and to make us happy. I don't have time to be arguing and fighting with no man over petty nonsense. You know, life is too short. I like to laugh. Let's laugh, have a good time, enjoy each other. Let's get to know each other and enjoy each other's company.
Okay. Well, you know what? The people in the room are going crazy. Some people are for what you're saying, and some people are against. We're going to listen. So, listen, are there any men out there who feel that they can meet her criteria? And, you know, you mentioned something really important, not too much swag, not too much nerd. Are we expecting something unrealistic from our men where we're expecting them to be the corporate thug, you know, the in-between of all worlds, and does it even work like that? So you know what? We're going to, you can hold on the line. We're going to see if we have any man out there who feels that he can meet your minimum criteria. And Kimberly Wilkinson wants to speak on this, Kim, but I guess she can't get through on the line. I don't know if she's trying or not. But we're going to go to Dr. Uwe right now. We have a special caller in. So hold the line for a moment. We're going to see whether or not, and you can still hear the show while you're on the phone. So we're going to talk with Dr. Uwe right now. Thank you, Kim.
That's right.
We're going to take. Okay, so Dr. Uwe, let me find his line. Just a moment. All right, here we go. Dr. Uwe, welcome to the TonyaTko show. You are on the air.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here as well. So you right, so now that we have you on the hot seat, we're going to ask you one of the pressing questions. First of all, I don't know what your area of expertise is, but you are a man, so we're definitely going to ask you one of the hot button questions that we have from our list right here. Is a man able to lead? Is he able to lead? Can he be the leader and the head of the household if he has less economic power?
Absolutely. As long as he is not a schizophrenic, he has the power to lead. It doesn't matter how much money he has that he brings to the table. It doesn't matter at all. Basically, all he really needs to know how to do is govern. his household. I didn't say to be a tyrant. He just need to learn how to govern it. He can also increase his income, wealth, or net worth or whatever by the social network or the social environment that he involves himself in. So directly to your question, yes, he can, as long as he is not a schizophrenic.
As long as he's not mentally disabled or having some sort of, I guess, some social problems there. As long as he's not schizo, you feel that he's able to lead. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a relationship with a woman who made more money than you?
Yes, when I was younger, yes.
Okay, and how was that relationship?
My relationship was good. I matured very young. I was parentified around about the age of 9 years old, so it was fairly okay. She was older. It was no big
I'm
big
sorry,
problem.
you said she was 25 and you were 9 years old. I must have missed it.
No. I was parentified. I became, at the age of 9. My father wasn't around. I pretty much had to be the man of the house, dictating and governing, watching my siblings and all the rest and what have you. So I grew up a lot faster. And so I was interested in older women.
Okay, so you were used to dating women with more money. So you were raised in a home with a non-existent patriarch.
Okay. Yes, I was raised in a home without my father. Later down the line, stepfather did come into play 10 years later.
Okay. Okay, because one of the points that I did bring up is, do men mimic these relationships where they have a strong matriarch in the home? Is it so abnormal that you went from living in a home with a strong matriarch who was providing for you and to going into relationships with women who basically were mother figures to you? I'm not sure. So I'm interested in finding out what effect this had on you and dating, whether or not you were mimicking this motherly type of situation you had going on at home by dating women who were older, had more money, and probably more status, more clout, and more say-so than you did.
No, I don't think any of that really applied. I was definitely not looking for a mother figure at all, because I love to be in control. I'm a Leo by nature, and just as point blank, we'll leave it at that. But I was pretty much dealing with someone who can actually have a conversation without having to deal with all the other drama and what have you that younger women were going through. I did not want to play the games. That's all that was. I really wanted a defining point in my life. And so that's the reason why I pretty much dealt with older women. And I'm not talking about older in the realms of 20 and 30 years. No, these women were only about maybe 3 to 5 years older than I was. I was in high school. They were in college. I was in the military. They were pretty much living on their own, and, again, 3 to 5 years max. So it wasn't a mother figure at all. It was just I was dealing with a mentality.
I see. Well, you know what? We're going to get into we're going to put you on the dating game hot seat and find out what it is that you're interested in a woman right after we take this very short break. We're going to definitely find out what it is that you want and are bringing to the table. In 2 minutes, people. We'll be right back. and welcome back from the break, everyone. You know what? I really love acoustic guitar music, and I picked that out just for you guys. We're going to ask this caller what is it that he's looking for in a mate, and what it is that he has to bring to the table, Dr. Ooh-wee. And then after that, we're going to get Plain Classy on the line, who's going to give us a rundown on the transition that a boy goes into being a man and why the lack of appreciation for that is causing the problems that we see in today's relationships. So, Dr. Ooh-wee, are you ready to answer the question?
Let's do it.
Okay, so what is it that you're looking for in a mate? The people in the room are going to judge whether or not you're being reasonable or unreasonable. We'd like to hear what is it that you're looking for in a partner.
Okay, first and foremost, I'm looking for someone who is, one, attractive. I need a woman who understands the value of a peaceful home, meaning that she can govern her tongue. Also, that means she just has to have tact. Also, I need a woman who respects the spirit, woman who understands God and those things. Can put fuel to my sex drive. That is very important. And also, if we can laugh together, a woman who is funny and can dance is always a plus with me. She understands what is called mental intercourse. That would drive me crazy. And last but not least, a woman who understands the simple nature of keeping your bra and panties matching, point blank.
Okay. So these are the things that he needs. I'm sorry, oh God. Please forgive my unprofessionalism. I might have to mute myself. Sometimes.
That's that ooh-wee moment.
Dr. Ooh-wee. So we heard from the doctor, everyone. Listen, she has to have those bra and panties matching. You hear that? So people inside the room, I want you to give a 1 if you think that his requests are reasonable, or 2 if you think that they're unreasonable. So people who are in the room, they're going to be the judge. He said first, attractiveness. Then you know the girl got to know how to dance. I'm sorry. Excuse me. She got to have mental intercourse and be able to keep those toes. Did you say anything about toes? Am I adding that?
Toes? Nothing about those.
Okay. I thought you had the pedicure too. Okay, so listen. So there are people. Some people say that they feel that the requests are reasonable. There are people who are putting up a number 2. 2 is for reasonable. 1 is for unreasonable. The people are saying that it's a split. Looks like it's a split down the middle.
That's fine.
So there's somebody here who works at Victoria's Secret. So she's going to hook your future mate up with some matching bra and panties. When we start talking about the things that we need, Kimberly Wilkinson is giving you a straight 1 to infinity. When we start talking about the things that we need in a mate, we definitely have to start looking at things like character and matching values, things that speak to the core of a person. There's some things that are nice to have. Some things are nice to have, and they're not necessarily necessities. There could be a woman who may not know much about, bra and panties. Are you going to disqualify a perfectly good woman because she can't dance and she might have mismatched bra and panties?
Well, you know how it goes. That is something that we are looking for. It's not something that is a mandate. This is something I'm looking for. In the way that I see relationships, it falls in 2 categories. Actually, it is a relationship itself for one, or it's a dealership. And I say that because we all go to a dealership looking for the best deal. We scam around for a few cars and may even test drive and stay in some for quite a while.
Okay.
But it all boils down to just 3 things: credit, your deposit, and insurance.
Well, you know what, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it all boils down on what you are bringing to the table. So here we go, second part of the hot seat. Are you ready, Dr. Ooh-wee?
Always
second
ready.
Part of the hot seat. What is it that you're bringing to the table? What your insurance, your credit, what are you bringing to the table to get this car that you want?
Well, absolutely. I'm bringing, a good conversation. I'm a communicator, and I love it. I'm a provider, to the utmost. I believe that a man should provide all things for the woman. I'm attractive pretty much by standard of most women. Pretty much that's about it. I'll leave it at that. I'm well-figured. I'm also one I have an education, obviously. And, again, my credit, my deposit, and my insurance is straight, and I do understand what women want. It is sex, not intercourse, SEX, security, the essentials, and then all of the extras.
Okay. And on that note, we're going to thank you for your contribution, Dr. Uwe. We really appreciated having you on the show. Welcome, welcome, and thank you. Everybody give him a round of applause for joining us and being very candid with his list. You know, sometimes it's hard to open up ourselves to telling our innermost needs. So thank you, Dr. Uwe. Okay, so Kimberly Wilkerson is throwing tomatoes in the crowd. You know, I mean, I should have asked him how old he was, because I think that his list has a lot of things in there. And even what it is that he says he's bringing to the table, I think it has a lot of, needs a little bit of tweaking, but who am I to judge? So we're going to open up the lines right now to Plain Classy. So just a moment while I find the line. Here we go. Plain Classy, welcome to the TonyaTko show. You are on the air.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have you here. You were holding for a very long time. The phone lines are going crazy. So welcome to the air. Let's hear your contribution to the conversation. You said that you wanted to talk about the journey that men go through that you don't feel is being appreciated.
Yes, I think that one thing, for the sake of the conversation, I wanted to suggest that most men, I would say 6 out of 10 men, journey in this type of fashion, and I think a lot of ladies don't realize it. One of those things is when we're boys, we are basically, most of us are told, don't do this, don't do that, don't cry, so on and so forth. Ladies are more so our sisters or whatever. They are more so told, embrace those things, get through those things. Later on, boys are told, do things so you can appease a woman, but not yourself. While ladies are taught the reverse. Ladies are taught things like, go ahead and do this so you don't need a man, so you don't have to interact or rely upon. Now, you do have the unique scenarios. 4 out of 10 guys were raised around grandmama, somebody who made them independent. But ladies have to understand a lot of the gentlemen, whether successful or not, don't have the skill set that they were necessarily given. And that goes all the way back to Egypt. It's always been like that. That's why every religion, Bible, Islam, doesn't matter. They all say that a man doesn't get his crown until he finds a woman. And a lot of times women add class to a guy. And so when you have a lady that has not passed her class etiquette thing, she's just more so of a opportunist, then he may more so gravitate to her. Some of the questions you've asked some of the brothers today, some of them are really coming from the standpoint of peace and camaraderie, which is why you never hear or rarely hear a man say the word, I don't want to settle. Men don't have that strict of a code. We'll meet a woman at the bus stop and give her a chance. But what we have here, unfortunately, in American society is that people have gotten up to a standard and have forgotten, and they say things like your caller said in the first part, that's the past. Well, it's not the past, it's actually the present. And what you're now having is men for the past 5 years are now speaking up. If you notice, they never spoke up really in the mass that they're doing now between blog talk, TV shows, and so they would internalize it and not say nothing. And let me make this last point.
Okay, so I'm going to let you make your last point because I need to chime in on some of the things that you're bringing up.
All right. And the last point I made in the chat room when someone said about the B word and all these things, if you look in the history of media, and I'm a very researched individual, if you look in the history of media, you never could find men, black men in particular, using the B word or things of that nature. Prior to 1984, that was never even said. The first person to ever say it was Prince, made a song, Irresistible B. But if you look prior to that, 1981, 1980, 1982, black men were being called dogs and worthless between three shows, Jenny Jones, Rolanda, and Oprah's famous Black Men Working series, where she constantly called black men dogs and worthless throughout that time period. So that was the first time that, and as we all know, B is the reverse of dog. So I just want ladies to understand that if you sit up here and belittle individuals, at a certain point they start to embrace it, and you know that's our little paradigm.
Yeah, you know, and remember, I tell everybody this, and I'm going to say it again. Make sure that whenever you receive information from not me or not just me, but from anybody, that you make sure that you go ahead and you do your own research, because we definitely want to make sure that we are speaking or listening or internalizing from a standpoint of knowledge. You know what it is that you're getting. You know, there are a lot of interesting things that you say, and I know that much of this is based off of your opinion and your experiences. But let's talk about let's rewind. First of all, let me just say I remember the Jenny Jones show very, very distinctly. I don't know if Jenny Jones was on in 1981. I think we might have to go check our numbers on that one. And I don't know if we can definitely say that we can blame Oprah and two other talk shows for men coming out in music calling women bitchs. I remember reading a book by Eldridge Cleaver, in which in this book they were talking about the NIGGRB inside this book. So I don't know. So let's make sure that we are speaking from a standpoint of correct information when we do start talking. Also, I'm a young woman who was raised in a home with a brother, and I have male cousins. And I remember when they were coming of age, the discussion that they got from the male upper hand, the patriarchs in the family, was not one of how to service women, but how to serve women their penis. This was the talk that they were getting, not the talk of, oh, this is how you can be of service to the woman out there. It was, listen, I know you got some feeling twingling around and bustling in your balls. This is how you get those rocks off. That was the message that was being sent to those boys. So on the flip side, if there was a message being sent to girls telling them to protect themselves, oh, rightfully so. Rightfully so. There's a war going on out there, whether or not people want to believe or participate in it or not. And some of the things that I mentioned in the video that I spoke of earlier today with the transcending problems that existed from way back before our generations, the deterioration and the broken family is something that just, I mean, This is not something that started in 1981 when Oprah got her show. How long can we blame media? And when we start talking about the influx of people speaking out nowadays, is this influx a result of people now all of a sudden having the balls, quote unquote, to speak out? Or is it that YouTube was invented 5 years ago so that people could finally come out and be able to make their own videos and YouTube broadcast yourself? That's their motto. So now all of a sudden people can broadcast themselves. So that could be another reason why there's an influx of people speaking out, because now all of a sudden people have a public voice. So we're going to move on to the next caller because I don't want to be on a soapbox. We had 11 minutes remaining. Right now on the line, we're going to talk with Sakurako from Houston, Texas. We're going to get this person on the line because they've been trying to talk for quite some time. Sakurako, you are on the line, my dear. Welcome to the TonyaTko show.
Hi, Tonya.
Hi, how are you?
I'm a little bit stressed. The whole time I'm trying to calm myself down through some of these comments. Yeah.
Well, no reason to be stressed. You're going to have to use that adrenaline to pump you into 2 minutes of talk because we have 10 minutes left for the show. 5 minutes, I'm going to wrap everything up. So I need you to say what it is that you called in to say because we have one more caller after you, and then we are closing off the lines. So come on, TonyaTko. Let's hear what it is that you're stressed about.
Okay. Well, in terms of females growing up without a father figure or a mother there, like I grew up without my father. My mom wasn't there for me. My mom was actually abusive, so I didn't grow up with my mother. I grew up with my grandmother. And my grandmother was working a lot, so most of the time I have to learn for myself. And from my own experience in life, I never, ever in my entire life ever treated a man or a boy that I dated in high school or middle school less than I was. Like, I never felt that I should. I don't get where a man could ever say that all women do that or that we would even think of doing that. I don't remember any caller calling and talking in absolute. We had some very astute callers on, and I don't remember anyone. But he was saying basically women who grow up without a father, basically we grow up with this mindset that that we should treat men with a little bit of disrespect, but I don't feel that way at all, and I never have. And
okay.
I don't know. I just don't see how that could come to be.
Well, you know what, TonyaTko, I definitely appreciate your opinion. There's a person who talks from their opinion. You know, we're pontificating. You know, what happens to a person that's raised in a certain type of household, and that person expressed their opinion. So thank you for expressing your distaste for their opinion. We're going to move on to the next call because we have to wrap up the show in just a moment, but thank you for calling in. We're going to get Dave Walker, and Dave Walker is going to be our very last phone call of the evening. We got Dave Walker calling in from San Diego. Dave Walker, welcome to the show. You are on the air.
Hi, how are you doing, Tonya?
I'm fine, thank you, Dave Walker. I need you to mute your computer.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay, and you know what, everybody, thank you so much for coming out to my second show. I really had a lot of fun during the show. We're going to talk with him for 2 minutes, and then we're going to wrap things up. But we're going to be here again next week, Wednesday, at 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. These 2 hours go by fast, don't we? And I think I'm flirting with a topic for next week. So I need you guys to send me some messages about some topics. I'm thinking that the topic is going to be, hey, Mom, I'm gay. That's going to be next week's topic, I think. It might still change, but talk to me about what you guys have in mind. Dave Walker, go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say.
How you doing, Tonya? Well, first and foremost, I'm an engineer. 31 years old. I'm degreed, single, 5'11", 205 pounds, and well, to be honest with you, there hasn't really been a lot of females that I particularly care for that I've been dating because, to be honest with you, the dating market pretty much sucks as far as women are concerned these days. And I'm really, really picky. So, I mean, and I mean, I understand that I am, but at the same time, it's rare to meet females that I genuinely have an interest in because of the things that I do.
Right. You mean like being an engineer or some of your social activities?
Well, it's not necessarily so much as that. It's, you know, the things that I like to do. I like motorcycles. I like cars. I like, you know, working outside. I like doing things other than what I do on a daily basis. So
what woman doesn't like motorcycles? If anything, I see too many of them tooted and booted up on the backs of the seats.
Oh, trust me. I mean, well, the thing is I mean, I don't just like riding them. I like racing them. So it's I like to see how fast I can go before I actually get scared, and I don't scare easily. So, and the other thing is you know, I was in the Navy for years and years. So, you know, I have and, you know, there's a lot of military in my family. Me, my brothers, my father, all my friends are all military. So Leadership comes naturally to me. And
okay.
I have an idea as far as where things need to go and how things should go. I'm willing to compromise with someone, but at the same time, I like to do things in a logical fashion. If this is supposed to happen.
Well, you know what? And thank you for bringing that up. We have 2 minutes left that you can speak, okay, and then we have to wrap it up. But I want to get, because you know what the last caller says, that men just take women on a bus stop, blah, 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 blah. But then here we have a man who has something going for himself who says that he's picky. So give us, in 60 seconds or less, what it is that you're looking for in a woman.
What I'm looking for, first and foremost, is a friend. What I'm looking for, secondly, is a woman that, A, turns me on, because if there's no physical attraction, nothing else is jumping off. If I don't think you're fine, and if I don't look at you and want you, then I can't physically want to be with you. I mean, yeah, you might be a chick that I'll smash out, but after I smash you out, what then? So it has to be more than just that. We have to be able to have the same kind of interests. We have to have the same kind of views on things. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It'll never work. So I mean, we have to quote unquote want the same things out of life. If I'm working every day and I'm busting my tail and you ain't, then there's a problem. So I mean, it all boils down to quote unquote, are you compatible as far as things that you see?
Okay.
Or what you want to do in life. You know, I want a house, I want a car, I want this, that. So you have to want the same thing you see, and we both have to strive toward the same things in order to get there.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you looking for a woman who wants to race motorcycles?
If I could meet one, that would be heaven, but I know my luck generally doesn't run that good.
Oh, okay. Listen, everybody, I need you to throw up a 1 if you think his list is reasonable. Throw up a 2 if you think that it's unreasonable. And we're going to thank you for calling in. We're going to we're going to close out the show. So look inside the comments and tell me whether or not get inside the comments and talk with the people, Jay Walker. Thank you for your contribution. So that people are saying, 1, they think his list is reasonable. 2, if you think it's unreasonable. And Saria Suda from Arabia is confused. So listen, oh gosh, everybody is putting up 2s now. Everybody thinks his list is unreasonable. Why do you think his list is unreasonable? Because somebody adds some information about why. Oh goodness, because he's trying to smash out. So people don't like that smash out. Oh gracious goodness alive. They don't like that smash out. Okay, so let's wrap up the show because I want to be able to say a goodbye to everybody who is here. Tonight we had a very intense conversation where we spoke with a lot of different people, and unfortunately there were too many men who came in who didn't know their worth. There was a man by the name of Soul and Black who came on the line and dropped science for the people to let them know that there is worth and to describe that. For the people who are getting in late, this show is going to be on download, so you can still catch that, and I'm thinking about finding a way to publish this on YouTube. I appreciate everybody who came in. We had some tough discussions today, and then we ended it out with a fun back-and-forth dating game where we talked to people about some of their criteria. Most of you think that some of the people who are here are single for a reason. That's why you're single, because of the list of requirements that you have being a little bit unreasonable. So listen, I'm going to go down the line and say goodbye to everybody, and the show is going to cut off, but if you're here, you'll still hear it. Listen, I love you guys very much. Make sure you come over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/TonyaTko. Friend me on Facebook, facebook.com/TonyaTko show. And make sure you meet me back here next Wednesday. Write to me and tell me what next week's topic should be. I'm flirting with the idea, hey, Mom, I think I'm gay. Trying to find ways that you can talk to your parents about this change that you're feeling on the inside. So everybody, thank you so much. Make sure you check out generation-x.net. I need my co-host to throw the link up inside the room. If you want to have these types of discussions, the hard talks, go over to that website. Now we have 60 seconds counting down. Thank you, African Beauty, for coming in. Andre, thank you for coming. Angelo, Boards Jermaine, Carmela, Chi-Town, Day Walker, Deborah, Etisen, all of the people under guest accounts. We had a really full room here, hundreds of people tuning in. Heart Speak to Me, Hilo, Juliana, Just to Me, Kimberly Wilkinson, Killer Centric, Kimberly the Goddess, Lady Cam, Lakeisha, Lavender, Look Within, M182, Melvin Diggs, Men Talk Radio, M Infinity, Ms. T, Monica 24B, Motivated 77, Nubian J, Felix Eulogy, Pretzel, Princess M, Red Cobra, Rich Fur, Sakuro, Self-Guided, Sharifa, Sophia, Sun, Sparkling Champagne, Speak Your Mind, Spec the Renegade, Sunny V, Sunny, T. Sankara, Takia, The Whole Truth, Veronica Sings, Vintage Rissa, William, M. Pez. Thank you all so much for coming to the room. I love you guys very much.
You are now tuned into the TonyaTko Show, brought to you by www.TonyaTko.com. If you're on the World Wide Web, join us at YouTube, www.youtube.com/TonyaTko, Twitter.com/TonyaTko, and Facebook.com/TonyaTko. That's right, it's TonyaTko. Remember, that's Tonya with an O. Now back to the show.